Good morning, Sapulpa. This is Micah from Sapulpa Times. Hope that your Friday is going well. I was treated to the exceptional experience of getting to meet some very famous people and just shooting a movie right here in Sapulpa. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. But before I did that, it is a Free Coffee Friday, so I wanted to make sure that I took the time to remind you guys about what's going on here. It is let's see, it's 9:15, so it's about to close down. If you guys haven't been down to CTX yet, go ahead and pause the show. Go get your coffee. Get your free discount, free drip coffee, discounted specialty coffee. Basically $3 off of anything in the store. And today is sponsored by Chenoweth Eye Care and Aesthetics or something like that. Chenoweth Eye Care is the one who's sponsoring today's Free Coffee Friday. So very grateful to them for doing that. Super excited that they were able to do that. They're kind of new to the game, so I think that it must be working out well for them because they're continuing to do it. And so, anyway, yeah, very very cool to see, and glad that they are participating in that. So, uh, had a pretty good day yesterday. Not gonna lie, it was pretty neat to be able to hang out with some folks over at the a friend's house actually, where they're filming this movie, and so. Word, I think, started to get out about it yesterday morning. We had some friends from the chamber show up there, and if you guys have seen it, then you can see Jordan Asensio putting makeup on the Hulk on Lou Ferrigno. So got to meet with a couple of guys here. Let me show you the picture that I got from this here. This is pretty great. So you can see everybody here. So let me count off who we got here. On the far left, that is Jimmy J.J. Walker, who some of you guys will remember from the sitcom called Good Times that was real popular in the late 70s, mid to late 70s. And Jimmy J.J. was particularly popular for his catchphrase dynamite, and so a lot of people know him. And then what's great is he actually started as a radio DJ, and then did like a comedy set and got discovered while he was doing stand-up comedy, and then ended up being cast in that show, and went on to become basically the lead character of that show. He was kind of like the Steve Urkel of Family Matters, where he was brought on as kind of a secondary character, but just became kind of the star over time. And so that's on the left there. That's him on the left. And then in the middle, a lot of you guys will recognize him. That is Lou Ferrigno, the original Incredible Hulk. Many of you guys, especially if you're into Marvel stuff like I am, then you'll know him. And I will admit that is a pretty loud shirt that he's wearing right there. And that is not normally the kind of clothes that he would wear. In fact, I think that's the shirt that he had on when I interviewed him, but I know that that is something they brought along for wardrobe and not what he normally wears. So, and then on the right hand side there is Brian Shoup, and had a fantastic time with Brian. So a lot of folks don't know about Brian, but you really should, because the man has been a working actor for 35 years, and he is actually the star of this movie that they're filming in Sapulpa. It's called Forgotten Fortune. I would highly recommend you guys check this out. They're going to be doing a special screening in December after its production has wrapped and shooting is finished up. And so we'll get the information out to you guys for that as soon as we get it. But anyway, so just a fantastic time meeting all of you guys. I wanted to kind of talk through some of the experience that I had with you guys there. And it won't be too terribly long. I do want you to read the story that we're putting together for this. We just put out the first of these, which was the interview that I did with Brian Shoup. Came out yesterday evening. So you guys be sure to go and check that out. Um, First of all, I should let everybody know that everybody was extremely welcoming, extremely, pleasant to be around. Nobody would, we weren't, okay. And I admit that if even if I had been there to work, to be on camera or something like that, you're working on reading your lines and trying to get ready for your scene and all that stuff. There was me, Tulsa World, News on 6, Channel 8 came along later. There were so many news stations and photographers there that I have to admit it might have annoyed me a little bit, just because the amount of activity that was happening in this small space where you're trying to concentrate and do your scene. And so, first of all, I'm just very grateful that I was even allowed to be there. Very grateful to my friends who helped set that up. Very cool that they allowed that to happen. And then, but just the fact that these guys were so pleasant to be around, they willingly talked to me. They sat with me for several minutes each and just kind of told me the story about how they got started, how they ended up in Sapulpa, whether they had been here before or not. And then talked about the movie. And so let me give you a kind of a quick rundown of this movie. This movie, like I said, is called Forgotten Fortune. And Brian Shoup, who is the guy over there on the far right side there, he is the main lead character in this movie. And it's really interesting because what he is doing, he's playing an elderly, aging gentleman. Um, who has these two best friends, basically. Leo and Larry, I think, are their names. I think that's right, the characters' names, played by Jimmy Walker and Lou Ferrigno here. And they are they're lifelong friends, right? And well, so what happens here is Brian's character, which is also named Brian, Brian starts to get early onset dementia, starts to show signs of that. And anybody who has ever been through something like that, which by now we have probably all, like he says in the story, like Brian says in the story, been touched by Alzheimer's or somebody with early onset dementia. It's just so common now. But Brian talked about this, and he said that the way that he dealt with this, he actually kind of brought up a lot of emotion and stuff because his mom passed away from Alzheimer's. And so he was kind of tapping into a lot of that emotion and experience that he had going through this process with his mom in order to kind of draw on how he would perform this character. And so he got to do that, and it was a great time. Go read the story to get the whole story on how he got started. It's really cool. But just watching them work and watching him on how he embodies this character is really neat, especially not just because it's a movie that's getting filmed in Sapulpa, but it's because you get to see an actor who's been doing it for a long time actually do the work and do the work well. And so that was really exciting to see. But anyway, the premise here is you got this man who is dealing with the effects of early onset dementia. And part of what he does as he goes into kind of these episodes where he kind of steps back in time in his mind to what he used to do. So he's a retired postal service worker. And part of what he does is he will put on his old postman's uniform and go run the mail. He'll get like junk mail basically and go run his old route while he's kind of going through this experience right here. Well, it so happens that when he's doing that, he's running his old route one day, he stumbled upon what later they found out is a motor. And so he tried to tell the police, and because they all, I guess they know that he's someone who's dealing with this memory issues and stuff like that and this disease, nobody believes him except for these two lifelong friends that he's playing poker with today. So that's the premise of the movie, and the story of how they figure that all out is there. So be sure to go and check out that movie when it comes out later this year. It's going to be really exciting. But I just want to reiterate, meeting all of these guys was great. It was just like you'd always hope, that nobody was being a diva or anything like that. They were all just great to be around, great to hang out with, and really excited. So we're going to put out at least two more stories, hopefully three more stories about this. We got the first one with the interview with Brian Shoup. The next one will be with Jimmy Walker, and then we're going to wrap it up with Lou Ferrigno. And then I'm also going to try and get a separate story with the writer and director, Stevie Fernandez, because he's actually a Tulsa guy. He's been around here a long time, and would like to talk to him about his experience there. So hopefully we'll get that. Not sure. But you can look for the story coming out with Jimmy Walker and Lou Ferrigno in the next couple of days. So go subscribe to the Sapulpa Times if you're not already to get notified when those stories go out. And again, I just want to stress, it was really cool hanging out with them. Great to meet them. Great to interview them. Really glad that they're here in Sapulpa. And, maybe if you're out and about enough, you might get to see them kind of just cruising the town a little bit. So a lot of fun. So, okay, it is Free Coffee Friday. And part of what happened on Friday is we kind of reiterate and talk to you guys about what is happening this weekend. And so we've got basically one major event here. I got a couple of them. I was wanting to look at my notes real quick to see if I could remember what was it. Okay, so I will, yeah, we'll go into that. Sorry, got off track for just a minute. The big one that's happening today. Okay, speaking of celebrities, right? So we have our own local celebrity, Roberta from American Heritage Bank. You're going to be able to meet her today. This is happening today, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. at the main lobby location over in American Heritage Bank on Main Street. And she'll be there. If you're one of the first 100 fans through the door there, you're going to get a Roberta, an autographed, mind you, Roberta Big Head sign. So if you want to come down, meet Roberta, and I think there's going to be like, yeah, famous blueberry pie there. And so have the blueberry pie, meet Roberta, meet our own local celebrity there, and that'll be a lot of fun. Be sure to come out and hang out with that. That'll be at 3:30 this afternoon. And then next week, I don't have a graphic for this yet, but I did want to remind everybody about a couple things that are happening next week. And so I think this will be happening towards the end of next week, actually. So the first one is tickets are on sale now, not tickets, permits are on sale. If you are a duck hunter and you're into this sort of thing, then permits for duck hunting at Sahoma Lake are on sale as of now. You can go down to the bait shop over at Sahoma Lake and buy your permit now. And they're going to be doing what they call the duck hunting lottery this next weekend on the 16th, 17th, whatever that Sunday is. That's when they're going to be doing that. And so if you're not familiar with how this process works, basically we have a limited number of duck blinds over at Sahoma Lake, right? And, to get kind of first come, first serve on that, they do a lottery every year. And so you go and you buy your permits, and then you show up and you go and you do the lottery, and you do have to be there. They call your name, and you get your duck blind, right? That you get to have. And basically you have the first right to that duck blind, I think, every day of the hunting season, for duck season or whatever season it is, through that season. Now the thing is, you have to be there by, I think they said 6:30 in the morning to claim that blind. If you're not there by 6:30 in the morning when it is time to hunt your ducks, then it is open to whoever the next person is. So part of the benefit of attending the lottery, which is free to attend, you need to buy your permit, but it's free to be a part of the lottery. Part of the benefit there is that you get first right to one of the blinds there at the lake. And so if you're someone who does duck hunting and you enjoy that, then be sure to come out and be a part of that lottery. That's happening not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. Okay, so next weekend. You guys be sure to keep that in your calendar if you're into that sort of thing. And then, speaking of what's happening next weekend, there's also going to be a new storybook trail added to Kelly Lane. I mentioned this on Wednesday. I'll just remind you guys about it. On Wednesday, there's going to be a storybook trail update. So the playground area over at Kelly Lane, some of you guys will know if you walk the walking trails there, they've got these really cool plaques, and they have pages from a children's book there. And they get chosen by I think it's a collaboration between our local library and the Sapulpa Parks Department. And then they get chosen and they get installed. And I think they do it once, twice, probably like once a quarter, I'd imagine would be the goal that they're trying to do. I think it depends on how the weather is and stuff. But anyway, they're about to update that. I don't know the book, but I know it's going to be something that's a lot of fun. Gets the kids outside. Weather is finally starting to cool off a little bit, and it's going to start getting cooler over the next several weeks. And so it's a great chance to get the kids outside, take them to the park, take them to Kelly Lane, have them walk the trail and read the storybook there. And then, get to read the book. And then you check it out too. It's actually pretty fun for adults too. Something to do while you're walking the trails there. So anyway, that is what's happening, guys. That's kind of it. If you are looking for what else is happening this weekend, I want to remind you guys to go check out the story on what's happening this weekend, which actually a big one that I forgot to mention. I'll go ahead and mention it again now. The summer cash grab is happening this Saturday, tomorrow, at I believe it's 10 a.m. over at Herald Square. 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Go look at the stories. to get the for sure on that. But Herald Square, they'll be doing the giveaway there. So if you've been shopping local and filling out your tickets and dropping them in the box, then your tickets will be entered into the drawing that they're going to do on Saturday, on tomorrow. So that'll be happening at Herald Square. You do need to be present to win. You have to be there in order to win. So if you're not there when they call your name, then you don't win the money. They're going to give away $1,000. They're going to give away some gift cards. I think they've got a money machine there that they're going to have some time in. So all of that stuff is only available to you guys if you show up and your name gets called. And if you've been shopping downtown to help support our local businesses during the construction, that is what that's all about. So hopefully you guys have been. I know I have been. My name is in these boxes a lot. I promise you that. So I'm liking my chances, honestly. So anyway, that'll be happening tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get to see you guys there. And then that will do it for the show today, guys. I will hope that you have a great weekend. I'll see you guys again on Monday, where we talk about all things happening in the town that we love. Have a great weekend, everybody, and happy Free Coffee Friday. We'll see you guys Monday. Bye-bye.